Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and I thought that I would weigh in on this latest quote-unquote celebrity investigation and outing in Ellen DeGeneres, or as I like to call her, Helen DeGenerate. See, I'm not a fan of Ellen. I don't think she's a great person. I don't think she's all that talented. And quite frankly, if you've been paying attention, even those who have worked for her in the past weren't that silent about her behavior. Now, the problem is that when this latest story right here broke into the press, right, people were like, this is it, it's happening. And a lot of the fantasy people said, see, here we go. And you have to understand these suits, these things that are taking place now with Ellen take years and years and years. And this has nothing to do with human trafficking. This has nothing to do with a bunch of the conspiracy theories and memes that are out there. And we'll go through them and we'll have fun with this. But at the end of the day, we'll talk about a comedian who I like, Greg Fitzsimmons, and how he openly discussed how terrible Ellen was years ago on the Joe Rogan podcast. Before we get there, guys, I want you to thumbs this video up, subscribe, and share. Remember, we are fully 100% demonetized on this platform. So $5, $10, $15, big donors, you mean the world to me. Again, make sure you are subscribed, you're thumbing it up, checking out the documentary films that are in the playlist section. And if you can also check me out over on Rockfin. Remember, you just have to make an account and you'll get the free weekly exclusive right here. And if you want to support me, you get a ton of other great creators out there. Okay, so let's look at the headline here. Don't look at her, talk to her, or approach her. That's really not that much different from any big celebrity, right? Didn't we have these same revelations from Steve Harvey, right? Does that shock you? I mean, this is someone who's been in the entertainment business for decade upon decade upon decade and been deified in that industry to what? Push celebritard culture. That's what that show is. It pushes nothing but celebrity nonsense. And remember, the Ellen show, when I was working over at We Are Change, was the one that premiered that Little Dicky, We Love the Earth song, you know, that was super catchy but super sexualized for kids, okay? And whatever, I get it, it's supposed to be for adults, but then you portray it as a high-end DreamWorks, Pixar type song where obviously little kids were going to love it and play it, and your attempts to, censor any of that sexual talk or activity, ridiculous and ineffective, period. So I have my own beefs with Ellen. It has nothing to do with the memes. So let's look at the memes, right? We've all seen them. And we all know who's pushing it. This is it. It's happening. So when you can't go to Epstein Island, you bring Epstein Island to you. Yes. Why does your set? There's a bunch of variations of it, but people have pointed out the Epstein Island motif on Ellen's set, and then of course there's the ankle bracelet conspiracy, right? The ankle bracelet conspiracy. I've never bought into any of this stuff. But this is why people think, oh, they're going to get her. Finally, they're bringing her down. Look, this guy named Greg Fitzsimmons, he wrote on that show. And we're probably talking about 5, 6 years ago. This was posted 4 years ago. So it says, looking for an episode, somebody was talking about how Ellen is a bitch. It was from at least a year ago, so 5, 6 years ago. Someone said they did her show and were told that they weren't allowed to talk about meat and some other stuff, or about how Ellen is a whatever. Anyone know the episode? And Greg Fitzsimmons used to write for her show and never has anything good to say about her. Not sure which podcast specifically, but I'm pretty sure he's the guest you're thinking of. Yes, Fitzdog is the guy. Okay, 100%. So it's not like this stuff isn't out there. And as far as I can see, this is kind of just a mistreatment lawsuit. It's not like there's any like criminal investigation. So, people got to pick and choose their battles. And look, again, I don't think she's a great person, but I do think that you discredit anything you might say about someone like that, right? If you're portraying them as a child trafficker, and then in turn, you demean actual child trafficking operations that are then real and outed, right? Look at Ohio. Look at that unbelievable, and I do mean unbelievable, ring on that farm, and who it involved, and how drugs were used, and how parents were having sex with children as blackmail, and how long it went on, and how there was talk of murder later. I mean, there's a lot there. And you never want to discredit that with some kind of falsity. I have this one person on my Twitter who's constantly posting some kind of a chart of how the temple led down into these corridors underground. You got to show me evidence. I'm not saying there weren't underground corridors. It certainly seemed like big areas of that island were dug out, right? But you can't just draw a cartoon and say, see, I told you. There it is. I drew a cartoon. No. You have to do your research. So, once again, I don't think Ellen's a good person. In fact, I could tell you probably about 100% that Ellen is not a good person. And these people that are now coming out and coming after, it's not overnight. All right? We're talking about back in 2013. All right? And now that these things are finally coming out, you got to wonder, will the left eat their own, depending on what they say about her? Or will they just support her, right, and make her more of a rock star? She's already pushed their agenda time and time again. I mean, this is where the controversial, is it a penis or not a penis, Michelle Obama dancing video comes from. This is it. This is that show. I'm just pointing that out. We're talking about, pushing just about every kind of globalist agenda you could possibly push with a straight face on a show that's disguised into like dance and fun time. Give me a break. So, guys, I think we're going to wrap this one up pretty early. Remember, fully demonetized on this platform. I'm probably going to do an Ask Me Anything at some point. We're also going to be having Steve and Andrew from Action for Assange on tonight for like a 45-minute broadcast where we're going to play their latest teach-in video about Julian Assange and then discuss it amongst ourselves. Julian Assange still a huge issue. Freedom of speech still a huge issue. Again, when they're actively suppressing doctors, whether you like them or not, whether they have some ministry or not. I'll say it again. Did that woman lie when she said she treated 350 patients with hydroxychloroquine? If she did, that's an issue. If she did not, who cares? Who cares what she believes in? And censorship 2020 is super in effect here. So also thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. And if you want to see how none of this is really new, and this agenda's been around a while, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now. They are my big picture docs. All right? I think they're essential viewing. I don't get everything right all the time. You may disagree with portions of it, but I think if you watch these things, you'll get a bigger picture and a larger understanding of what's occurring right now. And if you're still in denial about 9/11, Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, they're must-watches. And I'm very proud of them. Go check me out over on Rockfin. Remember, for $9.99 a month, you get all the premium content, not only of myself, but other great creators out there like Graham Elwood, Ron Placone, John Fitch, Ben Askren. Cernovich is on here, Nico House, Convo Couch, and many others, different voices. I've yet to see them censor those voices on this platform. And you can make a free account, and there's a ton of free content as well. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip.